Welcome. This is the Healing for Her podcast. I'm your host, Nicola P. Hawkins, a faith filled woman, wife, mother, home educator, and a therapist. My hope is to encourage women, especially mothers, who experience distress and overwhelm in life by reminding her that what's hard is only part of her story and that she can shift from despair. Rather, awakening, healing to flourish well by compassionately connecting with her heart to experience order, vitality, and fullness in her right now season of life. I mean, who doesn't want to walk in their God given worth more healthfully? I invite you to linger a little longer with me and see what moves within. All right. I am joining you today with the thought of protect your energy. Yes, protecting our energy is so important. We are marching right along into the new year, right? And so many momentum and goal and motivation and ideas that we've had for our season, and just to be able to pause and notice what is going on. Where am I at on my trajectory? How can I protect my energy, protect my sense of focus? Personally, I have been in the season of reacting to the next thing that's coming up. There are things that I have planned, which is set. And then there are other aspects that just have open windows and not really call for. So then I find myself reacting to the moment and doing the next thing that pops up. And so I just wanted to reflect on that today and saying, how do you build the ability to focus? I feel like it's a skill. I don't know about anyone else, but man, I'm really having to say, okay, like bring my brain back, bring my mind back, bring my thought and my focus back to the moment. A little bit of everything and being everywhere without focus really can lead to a sense of overwhelm and or trying to fit too much into a moment, into a day. Like it's just too much saturation, just getting bombardment or request or what, quick little demands or asks from your little people or the people around you that you love. And I think as women, it's so easy for us to lean into the things that everyone else has that's around us as mothers, right? All of a sudden, you're adding in something and maybe putting yours on the back burner because you're telling yourself, oh, I'll get to that. That's no problem. I'll get to it. And then you find yourself maybe a little bit exasperated at the end of the day and just feeling like, you know what, I am just gonna like Netflix and chill instead of catching up on that project that I had in mind. And so I just want to be a voice of encouragement as I'm over here encouraging my own self. Yes. Um, Today I was hearing this guy talk about this. I was thinking about this topic, and then he was made that sense. How do you ask the question? How do you protect your attention? I was like, ooh, that's so good. So I whipped out my notepad and I started jotting down. And I thought, man, years ago, kind of being in the same similar space of um, wanting to hone in on how I was managing my day. I think at the time I might have just had the three girls and homeschooling and new state. And trying to just navigate all the different new things, right? And I heard a motivator slash speaker state something like, you need to frame your day. And that just stood out to me because I recognize I got up and we had certain rhythms, but then other parts of the day, it was like a total free for all. And I wanted to hone that in, and it just made me think, and trying to implement some of this really helped me to grasp a bit and get a better handle on my daily life then at that time. But also, like seasons change, it ebbs and flow. So, it's like, what do you do when that kind of comes in? And apparently I'd repeated this phrase to a friend of mine enough where I'm saying, this is what I'm trying to do. This is how I'm trying to focusing on and frame my day. What are the have tos? What are the things that are not as urgent, and what's immediate? Really taking the moment to think through those aspects. So she actually years later made this birthday gift for me, and it simply said frame your day. And she popped it out. This was about maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. She popped it out. And I was like, oh, she's like, I remember you used to say this. And I'm like, oh my goodness, very thoughtful. And also shout out to when a friend kind of listens, and reminds you of something that you shared in a season that it was helpful for both of you. So it literally hangs on my wall right now. And so whenever I catch a glimpse of it, it just serves up as a reminder. Hey, frame your day. What are you focusing on now? Are you on the right trajectory? I was talking to a friend as she was consulting with me. She does assistant work. She was consulting with me, and I was saying how, sometimes the day I just could use like a personal assistant. Just say, hey, you're scrolling. Come back, bring it in, rein it in, because I got that good old happy brain. Um, and can get off track. So, how, being able to have this sentiment of frame your day and it bring in structure. That's what I noticed. Bring in just a sense of being able to define, what is it I'm going to focus on. I know sometimes making a list at the beginning of the day really helps me feel grounded in that. And I am a chronic put things in my calendar now and have second and third buzzes to help just being a reminder. So what does that part look like for you? In framing a day, it's like, man, this is the ways that I'm trying to use it to help cultivate attention, bringing myself back into a place where I don't feel so fractured and what's the word I'm looking for? Scattered, some version of scattered, or my day doesn't feel so choppy or disintegrated or all over the place. It can be that you have so many different facets and aspects, but even that can be organized. It can create some sense of organization within an organization, time blocking and all of those things. But for the sake of today, it's really like, how do you bring your focus in, protect your sense of attention, and really lean into to frame the day. Um, it's like you can't do like I have to tell myself you can't do everything all at once. And one that begins with like knowing my season that I'm in. Right now, my husband is traveling some, and it's like, oh, this is the season, this is the part where we travel like this around these things, this is the help that we need to bring in, or this is how I outsource these aspects, whatever that looks for your life, but how do you identify the season that you're in? And if everything is important again, right, then it can feel like nothing is important, like because you're so spread out. So honing in, like, what's the season I'm in? What's the most important things? Because there are going to be some important, but not exactly urgent or right now that I have to focus in on. So marking that out, or else I'll just find myself overly focused on things that, oh, am I going to miss this, or the FOMO aspect of things. What am I going to miss, in this moment? But being able to really nail it down, and just lean in, to what's my sense of capacity. What can I manage? Um, the world will always have more demands, more things, more ideas, and um, try it like this, try it like that. Stop and do this instead. So you just got to know yourself if you're like shiny object, or maybe if you're more grounded, or, reining in the curiosity. Like curiosity has its place, but being able to stick to the task and the system that you already created, especially if they're working. It's one thing to look at something else if it's not currently working for you. And so then it's like what again, back in the season, and what is the my world around me? What am I operating in? And what is it asking of me? If I have it's a different ask when you're having children at a teenage stage that is not yet driving versus when they are driving versus when you have younger children who need you to be more hands-on. So what are the realities of all of that? Do I drop them off to school? Do I homeschool them? Do, wherever, those things, what are my realities? How can I orient around them? And how can I reframe what's going on in the new season? Is the season, this month, this week, this day, down to the hour or the next few minutes? What are these moments asking of me, and just being realistic about what it is that I can do, the self can function in doing. And then what's your one thing that you can be proactive in and towards versus being reactive, because that's what can happen when there's so many things vying for our attention. It's just like, oh, the next thing that pops up, that's what I'm going to navigate through, which is fine. I've definitely lived from a lot of reactive energy, and seasons where it prolonged there. And clearly I survived, so you can survive. Is Does it feel, I don't know, fulfilling or feel good, and it kind of, for me, just realizing it brings about that furthering disorganizing kind of a living, or not feeling as settled. So when I can really hone it in, um, pivoting out of some of the um, higher repetition of survival, into something that's a little bit more predictable, a little bit more rhythmic, for myself, for the people that need me. So yeah, it's like safe to say for me, like the last few weeks have spun into a bit of a survival mode, but you know, listening to this and just even this week saying, okay, what do I need to, my focus is all about what do I need to come into, what do I need to reframe for my today, and just even the next few moments, right? I need to go grab my kiddos in a few, not to date things, but it's just like, okay, I can get this podcast in before this versus just getting there early and idling, or so really kind of thinking through what are the things that I need to get done, even if sometimes it's like today there's four things need to get done. I can arrange them however I want, but at the end of the day, these four things need to get done, like on that level, right? Just kind of keeping the end task, the overall task in mind, while managing our right now moments, and seeing how to just arrange our attentions and our focus. So that's me. What about you? Thank you for listening. I hope this experience has allowed you to connect within, and that you feel inspired to flourish well. Until next time, keep healing for her. It is worth it. You can follow us here and reach out by emailing us at healingforher@gmail.com. That is HEALING, the number 4, HER at gmail.com. Thank you.